Good morning, everybody. Just a little quick video in the fundamental series today on making your own inks, your own spray inks. So here's a couple that I've been using for probably a good 3 years or so. So I'm getting to the bottom of them. These are just little spray bottles that I've bought from a cheap shop. I think I bought 3 for a couple of dollars or something. I haven't found these again just when I went looking last weekend. So I found these ones, which are quite a bit bigger, and they were $1 each. So this one's full of water, ready to show you how to do it. This one I've already made up just as a tester, because these are old felt pens. We grew up calling them felt pens. I believe everybody calls them markers nowadays. So if I use the terms interchangeably, this is what I'm talking about: felt pens, markers, or just felts. So this one here I made with this color, this red, and it's really turned out really cool. I just give you a wee spritz here. Ooh, if I can. So that's rather a heavy-handed spritz, but that's okay. I like using the felts because it gives a more watercolor effect than like a purchased spray. So once this is dry, I do have one that's dry across the room, but I didn't think to grab it. So this red has turned out quite orangey, and I've used just one felt pen in here. These are old, but they have never been used. So if you're using used markers, you might need to add more or less of the marker. Start with one, and then if it's not strong enough, if you want a different color, then you can blend colors. So like if I put these 2 pink ones in, it'll give me a slightly different color than if I just used either one of these or 2 of these. So you can mix and match, you can make your own colors just like anything else. So you will need some sort of pen, marker pens, felt pens. You'll need a spray bottle and some water. These 2 are just normal tap water, and they're perfectly fine. As I said, I've had them for about 3 years, give or take. This one is filtered water because we now have a filter, and that's the only reason, is because we now have a filter. So you'll need pens, spray bottle, water, and probably some pliers, and a craft knife or scissors. I prefer a craft knife. So the trickiest part here is to actually get into your marker, your pen. And I'm hoping I can do this because my hubby did the last one for me. So I'm just going to try and ease that end part off a little bit. So this is definitely the hardest part, and you might need to enlist some help if you haven't got a lot of hand strength. Oops, I'm succeeding in shaving bits of plastic off. That's what I'm doing. Oh, I don't know how he managed to do it because I am struggling. I'm on struggle street. Yep, so I can't get in that end. That's the other option, is if you're really struggling like I am, is to take your knife. Now there is a plug in here, so it might be easier this end, is to cut it open. And I think that's how I'm going to get through to this. Oh, there's actually a plug in that end as well. There's a little cross bit across the top. Yeah, way easier to actually cut it open. To reveal the tube inside that holds all the colour. This is part of the nib here. You can also put that in to your bottle. So I'm just going to take the lid off there. I'm going to put the nib that came out. I'm going to grab the insides and remove that. Oh, you'll also need a wet wipe or a tissue or something. And I'm going to just carefully slit down the length there just to expose that inner core so that the colour's going to come out. You will end up with colour like on your knife, on your fingers, on your mat potentially, and on your pliers. So wet wipe is a good idea. And then I just, depending on the size of your bottle, you might need to chop it in half, but this bottle's quite tall, and just drop it in. This one I might actually use 2. So let's go in from this end. Hopefully I'm chopping far enough down to get past the plastic. And oh, okay, so there's quite a long plastic bit in the end there. Oops, put it in the rubbish. Let's try combining the 2 colours for this one, just because. So split it open, and I'm just going to drop it in with the other one. So I do have some ink on my mat there. My tools are wiped down. And then these plastic bits, unfortunately, you can use them for mark making or something like that, but I've got plenty for that purpose. Unfortunately, it's plastic in landfill, which I'm not super happy about, but it's a fact of life, unfortunately. And then just pop the lid on and let it sit for however long. Now this one was actually ready to go in about 2 hours, and the longer you leave it to sit, the stronger the colour will get, until it's soaked up all the colour from your core. And then it's a matter of trying to fish it out. If you want to, you could just leave it in there. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to fish that out. I thought I'd give it a go. You can get in there with like a pokey tool or something and kind of fish it out, but it's doing no harm just left sitting in there. So I'm just going to leave it in there. So that's one felt pen. I'm interested to see how these 2 go, because they are unused, so there's a lot of colour still in them. And there you go, homemade ink sprays all ready to go. If you prefer, you can use alcohol instead of the water, but alcohol is actually quite expensive to buy here in New Zealand, and you only buy it in a small bottle. It would cost me a fortune. Probably cheaper to go and buy my own alcohol ink sprays rather than try and make them. So I just make them with water, and they work wonderfully. This one won't be ready to go yet. Let's see if we can get any colour out. Like, I normally wouldn't test it right now, but yeah, so very, very subtle, but still there is colour there. If you probably can't even pick it up. But that's how you make your own homemade ink sprays. A lot of fun, really cheap and effective. Thanks for being with me. Have a great week coming up, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.